Well, thank you, Candy, for inviting me. Greatly appreciate it. And I really enjoyed your reading, Karen. That was fantastic. And it's an honor to share the stage with you, Laura. And yeah, I've been looking forward to this. So I'm going to start off I'm going to do my 10 minutes. Then I will talk a little bit about my process, and then I will kind of tell you my story, and then I'll answer any questions. And so I'm going to start off, most of the poems I read today will be poems related to my transplant journey to various parts of it, except for the last two. This one, I'm going to read, the first one is one that was the first one I wrote, and the first one I read after I started writing again last June. I am here today. I am here today because of hope for a new liver, a new life, a better tomorrow, a better world. I am here today because of love. Life fulfilling, can't live without it, love. Think about it, dream about it, love. Love that unites, love that holds, love that was there for me. Love that is the greatest thing in the world. Love that is the glue that binds us. Because without love, I don't exist. Without love, we don't exist. Without love, I don't have a new liver. Love has manifested itself in the form of a steadfast, resolute family, in the form of friends held dear, in the form of angelic nurses and determined doctors. I am here today to write about that which fills my body with passion, to activate my soul in the cause of justice, to value what I feel in my bones, to recognize myself as a human, a living, breathing human, a strong, vulnerable human, happy to be alive, aching for human connection, ready to take on the world, ready to bear witness. Okay, the next two are ones that revisit times when I was in the hospital, just during my hospital stay after the transplant. ICU. I wake up in the ICU, 24-hour care, one nurse to a patient, as my needs are met, a shave, an angelic nurse who continually feeds me crushed ice and relief that I have made it, and all there is to do is rest and wait for my move to the transplant ward. Pills. Now I am required to learn to take my pills, all of them, twice a day, every day, or else my new liver will fail. Twice a day, every day, the pills which sustain me and organize them, myself. This is not your typical hospital ward. Pills that not only sustain me, but also weaken me, increase my physical vulnerabilities, compromise my immune system. But it's what I must do or die. Do or die. Okay, and the next several ones here are going to be more philosophical, I think existential musings on my time. You know, how the effect that the transplant has had on my life. Emotions are closer to the surface since this transplant, since this life-transforming event. I am closer to myself, closer to being myself. I find myself tremendously moved. Tremendously moved by beauty, by compassion, by love, by courage. It does not take much. The gift of life has brought with it the gift of feeling. I am awed by that with which we are presented. As life offers its curves and turns, I am awed by that with which we are presented. Obstacles provide a challenge, but maybe there is some benefit in this. Maybe I am meant to grow. Maybe I am meant to change. Maybe this is meant to be. Is this fate? I know not. But I know that I am a better person than I was before. A better person, a stronger person, more passionate, more emotional, more fulfilled, more willing to take a chance, and be vulnerable, and open myself up to the world than I would be without this. I am here to write. I am here to write. I know that now. For a long time, I was wondering why I was here. I've been interested in meaning and purpose and Viktor Frankl for years. I can see now that to actualize it is something else. It took major illness and the prospect of death to realize it. I was wondering before the transplant how it would change me. I was not sure what form it would take, but I knew in recovery, with a second chance at life, that I wanted to change. I wanted to change. I wanted to grow. I wanted to become a better person. I wasn't sure how. What would I be inspired to do? What would I want? What to do with my life? How would I want to make a difference? How would I want to locate myself in the world? I went to support a friend, a writer friend, and met another writer friend, and decided to start writing again. I used to write. And to take it seriously this time. This is what I want to do with my life. This is how I want to make a difference. Death is what gives meaning to life. Just as water is better when it quenches thirst, just as food tastes better when it quells hunger, so the prospect of death makes life more meaningful and moves me to live it to the fullest. Being faced with the prospect of death made me want to live my life more fully. I wasn't sure how to actualize this, but since I have traveled inward and found the answer, my answer, I have never been happier. Okay, now I'm going to read two kind of unrelated poems, more worldly poems, maybe political in a way, if you want to say that. And these are my last two poems. Behold, a world of materialism, of self-obsession, of insularity. Maybe all they have is their big, fancy, expensive possession things. Maybe there is nothing inside. But I think not. I refuse to believe that possessions are all they have. I refuse to believe that there is no more to them than that. I refuse to believe that there are people with no souls. There is more to each of us than that. How did we get here? How did we lose sight of our humanity? This is where we need to dream. We need to dream that there is more to us than this. We need to dream of a world of compassion, of love, of hope, of transformation into the beautiful beings we can be. And this is my last poem. This is a poem that I wrote when I was a featured reader at Word Whips in the Gallery event in December at the Jewish Community Center. And the artwork that I was writing to was basically, it was a family's experience, revisiting a family's experience of the Holocaust. And this was not written to any particular piece. It just kind of, I felt I had to write it, and it kind of flowed out of me. And it's one that I think I'm proud of. The other. Why do we see them as the other when we are them and they are us? How does it benefit us to shut off a portion of humanity when we are better off with them? Why do we see them as the other when we are so alike, when we look in the mirror and see them reflected in us? Why do we see them as the other, when we are one species and there is no them, only us? Why do we see them as the other when there are those who see us as the other? Why do we reduce them to a category, a subordinate category, when we are all flawed, beautiful beings? We need to see how alike we are. Then we can eliminate the destructive, reprehensible concept of the other. Thank you. Okay, and my writing process, I think generally, how it's been since I started writing again, I think, is I carry a notepad around with me, and well, first of all, I guess I keep track of poetry ideas that I come up with. I put them in my phone, and I might revisit them. I might sometimes go. And one of my favorite places, incidentally, Candy, is the reading room on the 8th floor. Yes, I like that. It's a nice, quiet. Everybody's quiet in there and well behaved. So, so I might go there, and I've got my notepad with me, and I might just write something rough, and then do something with it, and then when I'm at home and I have time, I might just put it. When I have time, I'll put it. I'll transcribe it onto my computer, and I don't know if there's really anything more to it than that. I'm happy to answer questions about that as well, but I guess I thought that for the period of time for talking about something else, I thought I would talk about my story. I used to write, as I think I alluded to in one of my poems. I moved to Vancouver in 2005. I was looking for a community to connect with, and I didn't really think of myself as a writer at that time, but I found out in 2006, I found out about Pandora's Collective, and I think the first person I connected with was Steve Carboni, and so I was, I enjoyed going to the events. I went to Twisted Poets, Word Whips, and things like that, I didn't take it too seriously. I was writing to be published at the time, and I made connections there, I made friends there, and then I guess in about 2011, in terms of actually writing and reading at open mics, I stopped that. I still went to events once in a while, special events, but in terms of the actual writing, I stopped in 2011, and I had lost my job, and I just felt completely uninspired at the time. In 2013, I got a job, again, a career-related job, but it was not, I was still not in a space where I wanted to start writing. And then in May 2017, I had symptoms, but then before then, but in May 2017, I was diagnosed with a very rare liver disease. And so I went through the process, and they evaluated me, they put me on the list. But anyway, during the process of waiting, I just really I ruminated on exactly what this was going to mean for me. When I get through this, what do I want to do with my life? What meaning do I want to make of my life? So I had the transplant in November 2017. I was in recovery for about two months back at work, in about 2 months later, and then things were just kind of going along, and I was doing really well physically, but so I found out that a poet who is a very good friend of mine, Mary Duffy, was featuring at poetic justice, so in June. So I decided, I would go out and support her. And at that event is when I met another poet and youth fiction writer, Cynthia Sharp, who has, we became fast friends, and she's been, a very good friend to me, and as well as kind of a mentor to me, on an informal basis, and just helping me connect with the community, and especially earlier on, helping me, and helping me build my confidence with my writing. But it's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful connecting with different communities, Pandora's as well, but I guess also, the New Westminster Poetry Community, Writers International Network, and so it's been wonderful, and it just feels so great, and I can't imagine not doing what I'm doing now, so I'm writing this book, and it just feels so right. So I guess in a nutshell that kind of covers it. So I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has. Yes, Gabriella.
Is liver transplants, are they very complicated? Is that a very delicate, complicated surgery? Is it?
I think it is. I mean, compared to other organs, you mean?
Yes.
Or I don't know how it would compare to other organs. I was, it's not minor, obviously. My hospital stay was short. It was about 10 days after the operation. They were able to discharge me. So, but I understand that I'm unusually fast in that respect. I think it's supposed to be a pretty complicated operation.
And if I may,
yeah.
Where did the donation come from?
I don't know. Yeah, I think by law they're not allowed to know who the donor is. Yeah, so I actually was wondering about that, but they're not allowed to know. Hi, yes.
I noticed that your poetry all seem to have a relatively same amount of word count. Is that purposeful?
The same amount of
word count.
Word count. No. I know that my poems tend to be on the short side, generally speaking, compared to the work of other poets. But no, I just write what I feel moved to write. So.
I will ask you the same question, if I may. How do you know when you're finished a piece? I write too, so and I go on forever. I find it very difficult to be complete, finished.
Right.
Although I published a lot, I don't know how. I find it very hard to know when it's done.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you decide when, okay, this is where I want it to be?
Oh wow, that's a great question. I don't know. It's just, I guess sometimes I just feels finished. I don't know if I have a whole lot of insight to that. I do sometimes. Sometimes I think, I'll look at a poem and I think, there's got to be something more here, But if I sit on it for a while, it'll take me a while, like a couple of months. Sometimes it'll take me a couple of months for me to decide that a poem is done. Not always. Sometimes it's pretty quick, like it was with the JCC one. But yeah, sometimes it takes a couple of months, and then, if there's nothing else, then I figure that's probably, it's probably finished. Any other questions?
Have you thought about writing any nonfiction about what your nonfiction short stories about the process?
I would greatly admire somebody who could, but I'm not, and I love reading prose, but I'm not I don't know. I like poetry because among other things, because it's quick. It's, you know, I have a pretty short, I have a fairly short attention span, and I think that if I wanted to write like a, I don't know, 20-page nonfiction prose piece, I would probably end up, you know, I would, you know, probably about 5 pages in, I would forget about it and move on to something else.
Mm.
As long as flash fiction.
Yeah, fine. There you go. Karen, just, yeah, do you want to?
Anyone else?
I just liked your imagery that you used, and yeah, I think it's because, you know, I go through that too, where you just can't write for even a few years, and it's interesting when you have sort of an impetus, whatever it is, that kind of starts it again, and it's not always the greatest situation that starts it again. So I just wanted to compliment you on your imagery and being able to really express and get with that. What was it all about for you?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Thank you very much, Stephen.